So we'll go ahead and allow you guys to get rolling, and then we'll go to Bradley Sample. So, John Michael, if you want to just say a few words about getting started today and where we're at right now, and then we'll let these guys ask questions to you.
Sure. I guess I'll start by say hello first to everyone. It's good to see everybody. Hopefully it's a little bit, we can be in person at some point versus just this. I know we're all, hoping we can get to that point. We're thrilled to finally get going again. If you kind of look at our season as a whole last year, we had an up and down fall and a spring, if you will. Not so good in the fall. We went through a lot as a group, had a lot of young guys coming into the program, first time experiencing not only college soccer, but also playing in the ACC, which is, I was just on the tail end of the conversation with field hockey, but the ACC is across the board the best in soccer in particular too. So the guys had to play a lot of ACC games, got a lot of experience. And again, up and down, where didn't have such a great fall, but we had an unbelievable spring. And I think if you spoke to any of the guys at this point who are returning, they would tell you, had we had the opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament after beating number one ranked Clemson on our field, and it was pretty much a dominant performance, we would have done some damage in the tournament. So now we add a couple of new guys, new faces to the mix, talented again, a number, I think they're 9 nationally ranked class. So this is the second year in a row that we've had 2 ranked classes, and it's just going to add to the strength of our squad. So today was the first day we were able to be out. But if I'm honest with you, we started, got struck by lightning struck. We had to stop, and then we started again, struck. And we actually ended up finishing early, and then we're going to have an afternoon session here, and hopefully the weather cooperates. So we're excited.
Hey, John Michael, it's Jody Dimling.
Jody, how are you?
Good. Your first year is your first year, and last year is a COVID year. So, I mean, your third year has got to be a little steadier. You've had so much to deal with as far as being a head coach and different stuff. What have you learned about this, and that's going to help you now, and not only this year, but moving forward in your career as you take this thing even further?
Sure. Listen, I was very clear, or I felt like I was clear in terms of how I wanted to do things, how I wanted the team to play, how I wanted the culture to look. Pretty clear on that. And, COVID did. I mean, I know all of us coaches probably get on here and we all have our stories about, hey, this COVID, this. It did make it hard, made it very difficult. And we tried to adapt as best as possible. But coming into this season, having, again, a very, very clear philosophy of how I want this to look. And not only that, I had a young crew last year, like I said, brought in a number of guys who went through that adversity in the fall and then felt the reward for doing things the way we're asking them in the spring. And then again, now it's about bringing along these new incoming guys to just adapt to our culture and get to know how we're talking about now with our group, our way. This is how we do things, and everybody learning the routines, our culture, how we just do it. And no, I guess the best way to put it is I'm just very clear on things right now. And I think as a head coach, as an assistant, you start throwing out ideas to the head coach and you say, hey, I think I got it right. But then you have to make those decisions. But at this point in my my third year going into this, I'm very, very clear on how I want it to look.
Last year, from the fall, obviously there were so many things that went on. You had experience, you had lack of experience. And those kids grew as far as to the spring. But was there anything on the field that you changed or you did? Because it was such a drastic improvement. Was there anything on the field, on the pitch, that changed as far as you could see?
Jody, I'll tell you this: in the fall, because our numbers were so low, I trained every day with the team. My staff trained with the team. So being a player and being a coach is completely different, and it's hard to kind of oversee some things. So what we did, the changes that we made were we actually brought in players between the fall and the spring, and 2 of them that we brought in couldn't actually participate in the games. But the results of a match or a season are dictated not on the day. It's how your process, your training, and everything. So that alone allowed us to do what we wanted to do. Train. We were able to play 11v11 in training and talk about the tactics that we wanted to implement. So, it didn't really change a ton. We brought in a goalkeeper, Dante Bell, who's phenomenal. That's in terms of how we want to play, our style of play. Jake Elnovich graduated, moved on, has the opportunity to play pro, but Detray's been great and allowed us to do some of the things that we're really asking now. So,
as far as the newcomers this year, I think I saw Stephen had in some. I think you have a total of 12. Is that correct? The 12 newcomers.
There's 12, but again, 10 just joined us. 2 of those guys were in the
spring.
Spring, they joined us.
With that group being a highly ranked group, what are we going to see from that? I mean, do you have some? Obviously, those 2 that were here are different, but of the 10 that are just joining you, you've got some highly ranked kids. I mean, they will see some time, won't they? Or they'll at least compete for some time.
Yeah, they will. There's we say this for anybody that comes in our program. Doesn't matter if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever. If you're good enough, you're going to find the way in the field. That's how we approach things. And some of these guys, Achara, for instance, Ugo Achara, I can't even say his full first name. Not many people can. He's joining us from Northwestern, and he was a first team All Big Ten. And he's joining us. He's not a freshman. He'll technically be a junior. But he has experience playing college soccer. We have Dante Huckabee, who's a freshman, a true freshman that played, I can't even tell you how many USL games on an amateur contract. He played against Louisville City, and so this is a guy that's coming into our environment as a freshman at this point. And I could go Gavin Krenecki. These are just guys I'm just kind of thinking on the top of my head that I'm bringing in. Gavin Krenecki was with Swope Rangers of the USL on an amateur contract. He played against Louisville City. So some of these guys are, certainly talented. But listen, as I said it to them, I mean, they gotta earn their stripes here a little bit because again, we were good in the spring, and we didn't lose much.
Coach, when you look at this roster and what you've got coming back, what you've got coming in, what do you perceive as being some of your strengths this year, and then some areas you think that will need to be improved upon a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Our strength is just overall, I think the way we want to play is we want to be in control matches, right? We want to, from both phases of the game, attacking and defending. And if you look across the board from a technical standpoint, our guys, everybody that we've brought in, everybody that's a part of this is competent with controlling the ball and doing the things that we ask with the ball. Not only that, is they're physically athletic too, right? I don't know the results. I wasn't there, but a lot of the guys had committed to being here this summer. And from the reports I'm kind of getting from the performance team, they're all fit, which is I think going to add to the strength of our squad. We lost Haji Abdikadir late. I'll be honest with you, that was one. He would have been a senior this upcoming year. He decided to sign a pro contract with the San Diego Loyals in the USL, and that was unexpected. Yet, if you're talking about sorting some things out, that might be one area. He played center back for us in the spring, that we're looking at an evaluation of who can be that guy to kind of fill his shoes, if you will.
One last thing for me, John Michael, is the schedule. It's your 2 exhibition are on the road, and I think you start at St. Louis, but then I think you got 7 of the next 8 at home. So
That's
while
right.
you start on the road, you've got a lot of home matches early. That has to help this group, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we did our 2 away games. We strategically did this. Felt like we had SLU first, which is away. So why not get acclimated to playing away, right, for that very first one. So we go to UAB on Saturday. We'll do 3 or 4 periods, 30 minutes each. Anticipate everybody playing, and then we play IU the following Saturday at IU, which will be a really good test for us, national finalist. And then we got St. Louis, but yeah, the games at home are great. I mean, you got Evansville, Bellarmine, Kentucky. And then you got Wake. So very regionally based with Evansville, Bellarmine, and Kentucky. And we love that because, listen, I heard you guys saying this, Milwaukee, but I mean, it's 100% capacity now. And our guys want to play in front of people. So we'll feed off of that energy. I know that, and they're excited to do that.
And just final one from me here, Coach, having the aspect of having a professional team in town, how does that help you out on the recruiting trail when you're out talking to prospective student athletes?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, obviously, one thing I'd say is we've run into this jokingly funny time. Funny is so it's Lynn Family Stadium, right? And then you have Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium here. So we've had recruits type in, "Hey, where are we going?" and they showed up at that stadium. Funny enough, right? Dr. Lynn's done awesome. I mean, we're so grateful for what he has provided us, but his name's on a lot of buildings now. So, but having Lewis City, and Lewis City they're in the top of the USL too. I mean, you look at what they've done, and you know that stadium's phenomenal. It's one big thing with us is the attraction of the city, Louisville, and certainly having a USL club in the back of our yard, if you will, and a beautiful stadium helps.
All right, guys, we're good. John Michael, we appreciate
Thanks, John Michael.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Coach.
absolutely.